else. For example, let limit of fx as x approaching a is equal to a, and let's say limit of dx as x approaches a is equal to b. So let's see the first limit law. If fx is equal to a constant c, therefore limit of a constant is also a constant. Okay, we already discussed this. So now number 2, limit of c, a constant, multiply function fx as x approaches a. So since you have a constant here, you can put the constant outside and then focus the limit towards your fx only. So we already have that limit of fx as x approaches a is equal to a. Therefore, let's substitute this with a, and the final answer is c, a. Now let's see part 3. Limit of fx plus or minus gx. So this is just limit of fx plus or minus limit of gx. So let's substitute. Limit of fx is a, limit of gx is b. Therefore, the answer is a plus or minus b. See number 4, limit as your fx multiply gx. So you can just expand this limit here. So limit of fx multiply limit of gx. So we already have the answer here is a, answer here is b, therefore the answer is a times b. Next, if you have a quotient like this, limit of fx divide by gx, so you can split the limit of fx divide limit of gx. So let's substitute, this is a over and this is b. Next, number 6, limit of a root n of your fx. So you have a radical here with root n. So what you can do is you can put the root n outside and then put the limit inside. So we already know limit of fx, which is a, therefore the answer is root n of a. Now let's see a few examples here. So given limit of fx as x approaches 4 is equal to 0 and limit of gx as x approaches 4 is equal to -3. So let's see part A, limit of gx plus 3. So you can expand the limit. This is limit of gx plus limit of 3. So we already know limit of gx given is -3. And limit of a constant is again a constant. So we have -3 plus 3. So let's solve this. This is equal to 0. Now let's look at part B, limit of gx, and then everything is squared. So let's expand this inside. So this is limit of gx, everything is squared. Therefore, this is equal to -3. So let's substitute. -3 squared, this is equal to 9. Now let's proceed with part C. Limit of x multiply fx. So let us expand our limit. This is limit of x times limit of fx. So for limit of x, this is just limit of a polynomial. So we can just substitute the value of 4 inside. So this is 4. Meanwhile, we have the value of limit of fx, which is 0. So just put it here as 0. So let's solve this. 4 times 0, this is equal to 0. And finally, part D, limit of x multiply dx. Let us expand. This is limit of x times limit of dx. So limit of a function x as x approaches 4. This is just a limit of polynomial. So you can just substitute 4 inside here. So this is 4 times limit of dx. So we already have the value here is -3. So let's solve 4 times -3. This is -12.